You know I had to drop a track with my boy.
Where you at?
Yeah, video rapping boys out here to the favors. I'm the hardest young nigga. I'm dropping a track with my boy. This gas put it up. Yeah, video Pain versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fatal. I don't know if he was champion like Muhammad, I believe. Shut up, Bruce Gas. One day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down. We gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down. Take a hit out the Toka 2. Slipping hella shots. Feel like Tyson with the pick with little Glock on my side, but it hit just like Isaac Cruz. Shout out, Mad Chat, real shit. That's my fucking dude. We always cooking on the pan. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sand. Bruce passed me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Ayy, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Feel like Bruce Gas always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you can never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this a fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed. Yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Salute. We fixed it. Keep that music down in the back there if I can. Thunder Stud, my brother. Salute. Gertz, my man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Everybody's talking boxing tonight, man. And, you know, man, I get tired of hearing little Canelo and Malanga every 5 minutes and seeing if if Boots is going to fight Norman Jr. and man, couple of great boxers have birthdays today, and they very influential in my my journey through boxing, and so I want to talk about them a little bit, if possible. Keep the buzz going for sure. First of all, man, I always remember when I come on here, I must take my PM supplements. Today being Thursday, hit the old Thursday button here, and we pull out our 4 PM supplements, which are Cognium, the Silk Protein, the brain supplement, the vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams, always a good idea, time-tested antioxidant. I take flaxseed oil, essential fatty acid, great supplement as far as I'm concerned, and I take the Osteo-Biflex because, man, I'm loaded with arthritis, and this is pain relief. So we pop those every PM. Also in the AM. Gertz, working out, my brother. Good man. A lot of water too, man. I can't stress that enough. I always do, and I probably sound like a broken record, but don't neglect your water intake. Very, very important. Oh, that tastes so good too. Nice, fresh, cold. And a couple of dabs here to get the mind in the right frame here to speak on these two great fighters who have birthdays today. Using my devastating butane torch here. I used to drink a gallon a day. It's like it's tough to get that in now, but it's available. Oh, I got to skip that. Boom, man. To get my music on, I guess I have to put up with all kind of people trying to sell me stuff. The vanilla sky. That concentrate, man. I'll tell you, one of the best investments I've made. The price of an ounce of top shelf weed, and this stuff will last a month. But man, let me get into these. Let that kick in a bit. And I want to speak on these two boxers whose birthdays are today. And the first one's a heavyweight man from Canada who boxed in the 60s. I saw this guy many, many times. In fact, his career. And see, I got to look at my notes for this because all this stuff is what I know him, and all this stuff is stuff that I know. But to get the exact dates and the names and stuff, I forget him. I forget him like you would not believe. But George Chuvalo, George came onto the scene. He started his career in 1956. See, I had to go read that. I was 2 years old, and George came on the scene. But one thing I do remember is, man, George was in his first bout was a tournament held in Toronto by Jack Dempsey, and George knocked out 4 heavyweights to become kind of a known fighter in his first fight. But you know, George Chuvalo, he fought everybody in the division, man. And one of my first memories. And see, these are things that I remember, but when it happened, it didn't mean a lot to me because I was in my early teens, like 14, 13. But George Chuvalo fought Ernie Terrell after they stripped Muhammad Ali. The WBA stripped Ali of his heavyweight title for fighting a rematch with Sonny Liston. And George Chuvalo fought Ernie Terrell in Toronto too, I believe, for that vacant title. And Ernie lost a disputed 15-round decision. George lost a disputed 15-round decision. And Ernie Terrell, who was recognized for a brief period of time as a WBA heavyweight champ, and that was the famous "What's My Name" fight with Ali, when Ali beat the crap out of him to get his title back. But the reason Ernie got that was because of facing George Chuvalo. And George is a guy, 93 professional bouts, never knocked down. Think about that for a second. 93 times. Most fighters don't have half that many fights in their career. George Chuvalo, 93 fights, never knocked down. And the people that he fought is mind blowing. The opponents that he fought. And I've got to look these up so I don't miss any of them. I don't want to just start rapping them off the top of my head. You know, of course, he had the, hey, Pigeon, what's happening, brah? He had the, of course, his fights with Muhammad Ali were the best-known fights for George. He had one title fight, one non-title fight. Ali kind of beat him pretty easily, but he hung in there, man. You know, and Ali said after the first fight that George Chuvalo was his toughest opponent. So many other ones on his resume. Let me go through some of these. It's kind of mind-blowing, the people that he fought. The big names that he fought. Everybody knows he fought Joe Frazier. He fought Oscar Bonavena. He fought Muhammad Ali. He fought George Foreman. Let me go through it. These are the ones off the top of my head. I'm trying to find the list of the opponents that he fought on here. And George Chuvalo fought way too long too, man. George Chuvalo fought, he's in a nursing home now. Today, I think he's 92 years old today. I believe it's his 92nd birthday today. 87 years old, I'm sorry. 87 years old, man. And Benitez be 66 today too. But man, he fought an entire who's who. Let me go through the list. I'm gonna have to go back because, like I said, he had 96 fights, so I got to go way down the list to find the. I'm gonna find the fighters that he fought. And see, he was brought on when Rocky Marciano retired. In the hey Daniel, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you in here, man. When Rocky Marciano retired, they were looking for another clone. The Jack Dempsey's, the Rocky Marcianos, they wanted to find another tough young white heavyweight fighter, and George Chuvalo fit that just perfectly. And so he was touted by The Rock and by Jack Dempsey as the next great heavyweight on the scene. And early in his career, he lost to Pete Rademacher. Pete Rademacher, the guy who got knocked out by Floyd Patterson, who got a heavyweight title fight in his first fight. And Alex McKeith, another Ali opponent, he fought Alex McKeith. He fought. I'm going to go through his list and get to some of the bigger fights that he fought. He had a who's who of opponents. Zora Foley, one of his early opponents in 1964, he lost to Zora Foley. George Chuvalo wasn't above losing, but man, like I said, he never got knocked down. Always been an entertaining fight. He beat Doug Jones, a tough guy who Muhammad Ali who had life and death with. Hey, my sister Wingstar, salute, good to see you in here. Always a pleasure to see a lady in this joint, man. Classic joint for a second. Let me do a blast here too while we go through the career of. I'm talking about two great boxers on here, too influential in my appreciation for the sport. Oh no, I need a lighter. I must have 5 lighters in this freaking house. And here we go. Available. Don't panic. See, that's another. See, I got a blood pressure cuff today because last time I went for my physical about a month ago, my doctor, I got high blood pressure late in life, man. I didn't have any problem with my blood pressure until I hit about 62 or 63, and I'm like, what? I have high blood pressure? I guess I was going through my loss of my business, bankruptcy, and all that other crazy shit that happens in life. But anyway, I was put on a blood pressure pill, Anatol, 50 milligram. And it got my blood pressure down. It was been normal for years. And I said to my doctor, I said, hey, doc, this is better. My blood pressure is better than yours. When am I going to get off this medicine? I don't believe I'm taking anything for life. You know, he said, cut him in half and we'll see what happens. I cut him in half. I got the blood pressure cuff today, 117 over 80. I did it a couple of times, like 122 over 79. And then it was like way down. But anyway, blood pressure is cool. So don't stress out, man. Don't stress out. But getting back to George Chuvalo, he came to Madison Square Garden and he fought Floyd Patterson and he lost a 12-round decision, a unanimous decision. But he was known on the American scene, man. You know, George Chuvalo, a guy to take notice of him. Take notice of this cat, man. This crazy Canadian. I'm smoking some Pink Lunch right now. Very tasty hybrid. I only have one bud of it left. Little tiny bud in here. And I'm finishing it off right now. But you save that for my other channel. Make sure you sub to that too. Cannabis Education and Entertainment TV. Probably I can talk about that more than I do on here. This channel I kind of like to reserve it for boxing, professional wrestling, jazz, health and nutrition, and of course fine weed. Big part of my life, big part of my retirement life. But anyway, after Floyd Patterson, he lost that fight to Floyd Patterson. That's when he fought Ernie Terrell for the title that they stripped Muhammad Ali from. That was in Toronto, and he lost a unanimous decision once again. So he kind of lost the big fights. He fought Muhammad Ali, a 15-round. He got Ali for the heavyweight title, and he lost. Ali came to Canada, and Ali outpointed him pretty easily. 15-round unanimous decision. He went to Madison Square Garden. He fought Oscar Bonavena, and he lost a majority decision to Oscar Bonavena, which was Oscar was another tough Argentinian fighter, tough as nails. The fight that I remember him for, let me see, man, Willie Basimov, he fought Joe Frazier in 67. And Joe Frazier stopped him on a TKO, but he never knocked him down. Chuvalo cut really easily. He was in Madison Square Garden. undefeated Joe Frazier, and Joe stopped him in the fourth round. Just too bloody. The referee couldn't take it anymore. But this didn't cut down the value of George Chuvalo. He was in Madison Square Garden again. He beat Manuel Ramos, who was a contender back at the time, and he lost the decision to Buster Mathis. He was invited back to Madison Square Garden often. Madison Square Garden, that's the hub of boxing back in the day. That was the mecca. There were so many great fights that took place in Madison Square Garden. Oscar Bonavena always welcome in Madison Square Garden. Who else did he take on in his career, man? And this is the fight with Jerry Quarry. It was in 1969, December 12th, 1969. This is one of the fights that got me into boxing, and it was at Madison Square Garden. Jerry Quarry was the American Great White Hope. And Bonavena, another big rugged white Canadian. I'm sorry, Chuvalo. I mix a lot of these guys up, but we're honoring George Chuvalo here today. He took on Jerry Quarry. I was about 14, 15 years old, and I got out of work. It was a Friday night. My dad was watching the fight, and so I sat down with him and I'm watching it. And I wasn't a boxing fan at the time. I had heard boxing, I paid attention to it, but I was like so casual. I was not a boxing fan at all. But this was a back and forth fight. Jerry Quarry was kind of piecing up George Chuvalo. George landed a big right hand, knocked Jerry Quarry on his ass. Quarry didn't get up for the count of 10. It was a knockout, and the place went crazy, man. Quarry's handlers went in the ring. They took a protest. Chuvalo's people came in. There was a little mini riot in the ring, and this is something that I just remember it so clearly. And I said, "Wow, this is boxing. Look at this, man. I like this shit. I'm gonna stop paying attention to boxing." And ever since then, I've been a boxing fan, and I remember it as the George Chuvalo and Jerry Quarry fight that got me there. But like I said earlier, Chuvalo won that fight. Quarry, it was a very disputed. So Quarry it didn't really hurt Quarry that much. He got his opportunities once again. But that's when he went and he fought an up-and-coming, undefeated 21-0 George Foreman, and George just cut him up once again. He was stopped on a technical knockout. He never got knocked down, but he was stopped, and it was the future superstar George Foreman, and he chugged on. He kept on. He beat former WBA champ Jimmy Ellis, unanimous decision. Jimmy Ellis is on his record. Cleveland Williams is on his record. Muhammad Ali, and for another bout with Muhammad Ali, when Ali was making his comeback after Ali lost to Joe Frazier. He fought Muhammad Ali for the North American Boxing Federation heavyweight title, big title at the big belt at the time. And he was so popular, Ali came to Canada. Fighters didn't mind coming there. They got big purses because Chuvalo was money in Canada. So once again, Muhammad Ali, another fight with Ali on his record. And he stuck around after that fight. He stuck around a little bit longer than he should have. And he ended his career with a victory in 1978. December 78 was his last fight. But see, George had all had it all against him, man. George's kids were heroin addicts, and this is another thing that I remember so well from reading about the George Foreman, George Chuvalo. Sorry about the missing the names, but I do that a lot up here for some reason, man. I guess the old brain isn't clicking as well as it used to back in the day. But no excuses, man. I don't play victim. This is what it is. Just bear with me. But see, George was married when he was 21. He married his 15-year-old wife. He had 5 children, and 3 of his sons, and I'm reading this now, his sons Jesse, Stephen, and George Lee were heroin addicts. Jesse was the first one. Jesse was involved in a motorcycle accident See, I'm catching up on these notes, but I remember reading this in the boxing magazines back in the 80s, back in the mid 80s, because that's when I had my fucking bouts with the heroin and with the opiates, and I can relate so much to George Chuvalo's, to George, and I could feel for George's kids, man. What they were doing was they were out robbing pharmacies, and they were doing street heroin, and the three of them ended up overdosing. They overdosed and they died. And George is going through all this, and George's wife committed suicide too, just after one of his sons died. I mean, it was mind blowing with the trials and tribulations that George went through. And his youngest son Stephen, another one who they thought was came out of rehab, was doing better, was nearing a completion to a college degree, and he was found dead of a heroin overdose. And George I'm reading this, man. George went into a deep depression after that. By the time of Stephen's death, George had also found himself in financial distress. The mortgage had been taken at his home. He was kind of homeless. I mean, unbelievably tough the way the tribulations that George went through. But boxes pulled together, and they got him on his feet. George was always at gatherings, always at signings, and he's still alive today, man. He's still alive today, in his 80s, in his late 80s, 87, I believe it said today. And he's got the pugilistic dementia. He needs 24-hour care, and it's it was a real hard life for George Chuvalo. But he was highly ranked as a fighter. He was highly ranked during the 60s, early 70s, tough as they come. 92 fights, never knocked. 93 fights, never knocked down. He had 18 losses, 2 draws, and he was and he had the stoppages. Like I said, he only had the 2 stoppages. And that was Joe Frazier and that was George Foreman. They were all by blood, but they were technical knockouts. But an amazing career, and today is his birthday, and I'd like to keep the memories of these fighters alive while I'm still alive, because it's funny because I talk to a lot of cats on YouTube about boxing, and I mention some of these names like matter of factly, like you should know them. Teddy, my brother, salute, man, salute. But people don't know him, and they mispronounce him. Like, I got to go look him up. I got to go check this out. Yeah, definitely look it up and check him out, man. Because there's a lot of rich history in this game. George Chuvalo is only one of them, but it's George's birthday today, so we're gonna honor George, man. Sit around the birthday cake with George. And another great fighter's birthday today, who I grew up watching. And I checked it out today, and I said, man, this cat's younger than I am, and I was watching him, and I thought he was older than me, because this is the legendary Wilfred Benítez. Wilfred Benítez, the youngest champ of all time, and this was a cat who, when you won championships in 3 weight classes, it was a big thing. You knew who they were. You knew Bob Montgomery. You knew Henry Armstrong. You knew the fighters who won the titles in 3 weight classes. But today, I couldn't even name you the fighters. There's so many of them. There's more fighters that won titles in 3 weight classes than I can remember. That I've seen. It's not even a big accomplishment anymore. But back in the day, man, Wilfred Benítez, 17 years old, he won his first title. And I'm gonna have to go into the record of Wilfred Benítez, see if I get the George Chuvalo stuff, but I'm gonna close that out. And yeah, one more thing too, man. If being on social media, please sub to me on Twitch. I'll drop that in the chat too, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start showing fights on Twitch. I heard you can get away with showing live fights on there, and we got Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga for $90 on Saturday night. Anybody paying $90 for that? I don't even think the Boy Scouts are buying that fight on Saturday night, man. It's ridiculous. And then with the other pay-per-view coming up down the road, Shakur Stevens has hand problems and pulls out of the fight. And that was the main event on the pay-per-view portion. The main event on the card, the Turbiev and Bivol, that's going to be shown free on ESPN Plus. But you have to have the subscription and blah, 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 blah. I've been streaming fights forever. Ever since I had the internet, even before that, the black box, man, I'm a fight fan. I'm not a rich man. I'm a fight fan. And it blows my mind. I think these pay-per-views are killing boxing, not helping it. But anyway, man, let me pull up Wilfred Benítez in my notes over here, because we can speak on this great 3-time champ and everything I saw Benítez do. Get that one on there. Yeah, Wilfred Benítez is in extremely tough shape today. But I can remember seeing Benítez early in his career. It was mind-blowing, the things Wilfred Benítez, the talent that he had, how he could avoid punches, how he was just so flawless in the ring and got by on talent alone, man. You know, Wilfred Benítez, he didn't have to train as hard as the other fighters did because he had so much talent. He came to the United States and to Madison Square Garden. He had already won the junior welterweight title from Antonio Cervantes. And it's funny because you go into BoxRec now, and they don't even list the WBA belts anymore. So it's almost insulting to a guy like Wilfred Benítez, where that title's not even mentioned in the publication. But he came to Madison Square Garden. His first fight in New York was a draw with Harold Weston. And Harold Weston was a tough guy, welterweight. He was a top 10er back in the 70s. He fought a lot of the contenders, and he was not championship material. People saying, what's up with Benítez? And the thing about Benítez was, Benítez didn't like to train. He relied on his skill and his defense to get him through fights. And he went back to Madison Square Garden again. He was there for a defense of his WBC, or at the time the New York State Athletic Commission super lightweight title. And he won a fight against Ray Guerrero. I don't know who Ray Guerrero is, but the next fight there was with Bruce Curry. And that fight drew a lot of attention because Bruce Curry knocked Benítez down twice in the fight, in the first and the fourth round. There was a lot of buzz all over the magazines. They said Benítez should have lost the fight. He was awarded a highly disputed split decision. Hey, BVO, my brother. Salute, bro. It was almost kind of like the Boachuk and the Ortiz fight, where Ortiz was knocked down twice, but still got the decision. That was kind of the Wilfred Benítez and Bruce Curry fight. And, people were saying, what's up with Wilfred Benítez? He's not what he appears to be. He was doing it on sheer talent. His father, Gregorio, was a gambler, taking his kids' purses, gambling them sometimes before he even got them. So Benítez, he grew up in a real fast lifestyle in Puerto Rico and New York. He was in the crack houses. His father had to pull him out of the crack house before he won his first title. But anyway, he outgrew the 140-pound division. He moved up to welterweight, and he won the WBC welterweight title from the legendary Carlos Palomino in Puerto Rico. And Wilfred Benítez is now a 2-time world champion. that set up the great fight with Sugar Ray Leonard. This was Leonard's first title. Leonard's the undefeated, and he also got a rematch with Harold Wesson before. I'm looking at Box Rec now, so I don't want to leave anything out. But he had a rematch with Harold Wesson, who he had a draw with earlier in his career. Defeated Harold Wesson in Puerto Rico. And then was that fight with Sugar Ray Leonard. This was an amazing fight. I remember seeing this. This was on a free card, ABC TV on a Friday night. The main undercard bout was Marvin Hagler and Vito Antuofermo, and that was a draw when Hagler did not win the title. And the main event, man, Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benítez. People didn't know if Ray Leonard if he was going to be able to hit Benítez, because Benítez was just so slick. But Benítez didn't show himself as a power puncher. It was a 15-round fight. The referee stopped him in the 15th round. Benítez was getting out-slugged by Leonard, but the defense was there, and then he made a real contest out of it. But he was beaten by Sugar Ray Leonard. But the American fans now, they had seen Wilfred Benítez on national TV, prime time. People liked what they saw. So Benítez went on to, his career went on. He fought middleweight Tony Schiavone, who Thomas Hearns fought him. Sugar Ray Leonard fought him. Tony Schiavone was a Midwestern. He was from, I think he was from Kansas City, and he was a tough guy, but he was a gatekeeper in the middleweight division. Benítez beat him easily. Beat the trial horse Pete Manzani. Pete Manzani is another one, a gatekeeper at 147. Fought them all. Fought the Hearnses. Fought the Sugar Ray Leonards. He beats him, and then he gets a title shot for the WBC super welterweight title. And man, I was watching this in my living room on a Saturday afternoon, and man, Wilfred Benítez just looks so good. This is almost one where I should dig this one up here for you. Let's see if we can go find this one. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, I think we can bring this up. I'll tell you, YouTube has gotten to the point now where they are they're sticking those ads in there. I even have an ad block plus that was working really good before, but not so much anymore. But this Saturday afternoon, Wilfred Benítez is coming back from redemption. He's coming back for redemption. Lost to Sugar Ray Leonard, and here he is, man. This was on a Saturday afternoon. There's Maurice Hope. Maurice Hope was 30-2. He was from Antigua, I believe, and he was the WBC super welterweight champion. And here's Benítez, man. Benítez, he's fighting at 154, 29-2 with one draw, the defending champion. And look at Benítez, man, cocky, pushing him away. That referee too, man, Richard Green. Hey, my brother Umar from Facebook. Salute, my man. Good to see you, my brother. Umar remembers this fight. But Benítez was once again, man. He's gaining acceptability. The public liked Wilfred Benítez, and he got a title fight. He got a title fight with Maurice Hope, junior middleweight or super welterweight, whatever you want to call it. Hope was on a winning streak also. Let's see who Maurice Hope had fought. He Rocky Mattioli. He won the title from Mattioli. If you guys knew boxing in the 70s, you would know who Rocky Mattioli is. He beat Alfonso Heyman. Another fight with Carlos Herrera and Mattioli again. And then Maurice Hope comes to America and takes on Wilfred Benítez, trying to defend his title. And look at the defense on Benítez when he's against the rope, man. His head is got radar in it. That's why they call him El Radar. And this is at Caesar's Palace. May 23rd, 1981. Oh man, do I remember this day well. And Benitez, I think this was one of his best appearances. He never looked better. He just looked flawless on this night. He had the jab going. But wait till you see the knockout. Wait till you see the amazing power. There's my brother Paul Driscoll. Salute, Paul. And we're getting more action on Facebook than we're getting on YouTube. And Paul's the one, I think Paul put the post up this morning for the birthday of George Chuvalo. And I had to share that over here on YouTube. And then once again, man, he got me all worked up. I said, man, I got to go talk about my love for Chuvalo. And it's also Wilfred Benítez's birthday today, so damn, we got to honor El Radar. Well, look at that. Maurice Hope just missed those punches. He's in the pocket, but yet his head is moving side to side. Unbelievable stuff from Wilfred Benítez. And Benitez he's in such bad shape today. His mother takes care of him. He lives on a very, very small government stipend. You know, wouldn't it be nice to see? Wouldn't it be nice to see somebody take care of these fighters? George Chuvalo and Wilfred Benítez. Benitez throwing those body shots, man, with a straight right hand. Dazzling hand speed. See this referee, Richard Green? This is the same referee who refereed the Ray Mancini Dooku Kim fight, where Dooku Kim was killed in the ring. Dooku Kim's mother committed suicide. A little side note to that story. This is the same referee. He also committed suicide in Las Vegas. Somebody who knew him on the inside said that they said he was murdered. I don't know, man. I've always read that he committed suicide, but it's just one of the tragedies. And you know, he was involved in this fight. And look at Benitez, man. Oh, Benitez setting his feet down, just throwing those awesome hooks, right hands, all on target. And you know, you definitely want to. This is highlights of this fight. They're at Caesar's Palace too. Great venue for boxing back in the day. And Benitez, he lures Maurice Hope right into the ropes. He says, "Come on!" It's like the spider and the fly. That's exactly what it's like. Benitez has got. Oh, referees are. You know, I often thought about if I could ever be a referee, and I said, nope, I'd stop a fight too soon. I might even help the guy that I like. So, you know, it's a real tough job. You have to keep your cool. You have to be close to the action. You have to know the rules, man. It's a, you know, I know a few people on YouTube who said they were going to be referees, and they never followed through. They thought they were going to go right to the main events at Caesar's Palace. You know, no, they realized you got to do the amateur fights. You got to do the boys' club, PALs, the fights. You have to get there at 7 in the evening, and you're not going to get home till midnight. But anyway, there we go. This slugging, and Maurice Hope, man, a very, very respected champ. But nobody was going to deny Benitez on this night, and pay special attention to the smile on his face when he delivers the knockout punch. But El Radar coming with, you know, this is a rare thing for a fighter to have in its offense and defense. It's just something you just don't see in today's boxing world. And Benitez had that. And you know, people accuse the fighters like Shakur and Devin Haney of being dull, but they never accused Benitez of being dull. Yeah, it was a. Paul says broken jaw. I wish you cats on YouTube could see the Facebook comments. Oh, there's a knockdown of Maurice Hope in the 10th round. Straight right hand. I don't even remember that knockdown too. And I remember sitting here watching this fight. But the knockout is just, it's a beautiful thing to see. It's one of my favorite knockouts of all time. And it's coming up. And we definitely want to see that a couple of times. And if that caused a broken jaw, man, there's no doubt about it when you see it. Benitez smells dead fish right now. He's going for the kill. Maurice Hope is backing up, looking for that elusive place to hide. And here we go. We're in the 12th round. You're gonna see the knockout, man. Don't take your eyes off the screen. Oh, and look at Benitez. What a relief. We're gonna have to see that again in slow motion. Boom. Right hand, like he's throwing a freaking fastball on the World Series day, man. My friend Tim Witherspoon, so much in common with Wilfred Benítez. Bang! Look at that right hand. Oh, I don't think Benitez ever threw one like that. Jimmy Jacobs, his manager, same guy who managed Mike Tyson, and would have kept Tyson on the straight and narrow, but man. And that was Wilfred Benítez getting the gold back again. And man, I remember that. And oof, I'm gonna have to have a toke on that one. Pull out this last bud of this pink runch that I have. See, this was a nice strain. I bought a QP of this, and now I'm down to one little nug here. But we will enjoy it. But what a power shot by Benitez. And once again, that built up a whole new respect for Wilfred Benitez in the boxing world. And he went on after that fight. He beat Carlos Santos on HBO. I remember that night too, on a Saturday night in the bar. Carlos Santos was a tough kid, undefeated in Puerto Rico. Benitez beat him on a unanimous decision. Nothing special about it, but it was a cool fight. And then he had the fight with Roberto Duran. And he humiliated Duran. It was a unanimous decision. People say it was closer than it was. The judges kind of scored it a little closer than I thought it was, but it was a unanimous beatdown. Duran. It's almost like Duran didn't get over that, but that's another story. That was the beginning of a tailspin for Duran after the no mas, then getting slapped around by Benitez for 15 rounds. But then, my friends, December 1982, there was a huge card that was the card that went on at the Superdome, and the main event was Thomas Hearns and Wilfred Benitez. And Hearns is coming off his loss to Sugar Ray Leonard. This is before Hagler. This is before Duran. Nah, Berlanga can't make an upset blue suede shoes. I don't think so, but hey man, I seen Buster Douglas. I saw Mike Weaver. I seen, damn, Leon Spinks. Come on, man. Nothing's impossible. This is boxing. This is why we watch it. But anyway, he fought Thomas Hearns at in the Superdome, and I believe he knocked Hearns down twice too. And Hearns beat him on a decision. It was kind of a dull fight, looking back at it. But it kind of was it was kind of a decline for Benitez after that. He lost a fight to Mustafa Hamsho. People thought he was going to win, and he was actually being penciled in for a fight with Marvin Hagler, but he got beat by Hamsho, and that kind of erased the pencil. And then there was a fight in July 14th. I remember this fight. I was on vacation with my family, and we had a cabin, got a TV for it. It was a Saturday afternoon. Once again, this was ABC's Wide World of Sports, and he took on Davey Moore. Davey Moore, who had been beaten by Roberto Duran, and Wilfred Benítez coming off the big loss to Thomas Hearns and coming off the big loss to Hampshire. So this was a fight that the winner needed a win bad. And it was a weird fight, man. Benitez got his ankle messed up in the second round and couldn't continue. And it was a TKO, and it looked bad for Benitez. It looked bad after that, man. He just never seemed to come back with anything. He did fight again. He fought Kevin Moley. I remember seeing that fight at Madison Square Garden. That was on a they would put these pay-per-view cards on different promotional organizations, and the Kevin Moley, Benitez won that one. Even though he was knocked down, he still won that. So there was some hope for him. But then he fought Matthew Hilton. And Matthew and Davey, they might be in Facebook watching us now, but he got destroyed by Matthew Hilton. This was another fight that was on live network TV. And it was a sad fight to see, man. He stuck around. He stuck around longer than he should. He got beat by Pat Lawler. Got beat by some fighters that had no business. They had no business being in the ring with him, let alone winning him, beating him. And he ended his career on September 18th, 1990. He lost a unanimous decision to somebody named Scott Papasadora. That's a pretty tough way for a legend like Wilfred Benítez to go out. Very, very tough way. And Benitez, he's another fighter who suffered way too many punches in his career. And I said earlier, man, Wilfred is being taken care of by his mother. I believe he's in Chicago. And just a sad story. He's blind. He's bedridden. You know, he held 3 world titles, and he's broke now. And he's broken. He's, you know, it's sad, but you know, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be alive to hear the death of Wilfred Benítez or George Chuvalo, because you never know, man. You never know in this world. But both of these guys are, you know, they're in those waning years, and you know, death might be a relief, because their life is not a great life right now. But they had great careers, man, great careers. And I think back about both of these guys, and I got to smile a little bit. You know, I definitely have to smile. As tragic as their lives are now, you know, the great entertainment that they brought me through boxing. But if you want to do yourself a favor and you want to go check out some fights by Wilfred Benítez and George Chuvalo, and keep them in your prayers too, man. You know, keep them in your prayers, because that's probably about the only thing that they have left right now. Benítez is only 66 years old. You know, I got him by 4 years. Thomas Hearns is definitely still hanging in there. And you can see my autographed Hearns glove there. My autographed Hearns picture here, man. Thomas Hearns is still with us, and I hope to have him on here one of these days. You know, one of these nights when he's feeling good, we'll surprise you all. We'll get the Hitman on here for a few words. But you know, like everybody else in this sport, they stick around too long. And good things don't happen. So I appreciate all the cats that came in here, man. Do me a favor, make sure you sub to my Twitch channel. Let me see if I can find the put it in here. The way YouTube is right now, man, they're closing people down left and right, striking content that they don't agree with, and everything else. So I like to keep this as a backup. Somebody told me about it the other day. I signed up for it. I have one follower. I don't know who it is, but I have one follower. And what I understand, you can push the limits on Twitch. So I may pull out some of my concerts, some of my free fights, and even on fight night, man, we'll go over there. We'll have a fight party and really show them how to fight. And hey, man, if I get kicked out of there, who gives a shit, right? Until then, everybody, man, stay healthy. And I'm out of here. Peace.